Now the recipe I'd like to show you today is a Stilton wreath with cranberry port sauce. Now I like this recipe very much indeed. Firstly, because it makes a great vegetarian main course, but secondly, because it's made with 2 vegetables, it's a nice accompaniment to your main meat dish. It's a very versatile idea. Now, to make this dish, you need 700 grams, that's 1.5 pounds, of lovely, fat, juicy leeks. Now, you'll find at this time of year in the supermarket, there's quite a lot of soil left in them. So what you want to do is split them from top to bottom and give them a jolly good wash before you boil them up. And then you want to boil them for about 15 to 20 minutes. And you'll notice that the colour of the leek starts to change. It gets a little bit light and it goes a bit floppy and it starts to fall away from the main body of the leek. And what you want to do then is take a 2.5 pint ring mould like this, grease it up quite well, and then start to line the tin with your bits of leek. Now you want to make sure that they overlap quite a lot, because when we put the filling in later, we don't want any gaps or any filling to fall through. So get lovely big pieces, and don't worry that they're overlapping either side, that's absolutely all right. And keep going till you've covered the whole thing. There we are, no gaps. And then put that aside, because next we're going to make the filling for our ring mould. So I'm just going to get myself a big bowl because I've got lots of ingredients. Here we go. Right, now next you want to put into your bowl all the leeks you didn't use earlier on. There we are. And then add another 1.5 pounds, 700 grams of cooked broccoli florets. Now it won't actually be 1.5 pounds by the time you get to this stage, because you're going to cut off those little stalks that are very tough and take much longer to cook than those lovely juicy florets at the end. So put those in. Then you want 250 grams, that's 10 ounces of your Stilton cheese. Look at that lovely Stilton. Now you could use a feta or a goat's cheese. Just get the rest of that out. Really, you can use whatever cheese you like. Then you want to add 3 tablespoons of chopped parsley and 6 teaspoons of chopped thyme, lots of ingredients here, and a teaspoon of mustard powder, and 6 fluid ounces, that's 150 mils of single cream, and last but not least, 4 eggs. And mix that lot together, and you really do need to give that a jolly good mix in the bowl. It's a very rich substance, this. You're not going to want great big pieces of this when it's made up. Whoops, there we go, it's losing a bit. As I said, you need a really big bowl for this. So keep mixing until all the liquid has bound together that lovely vegetable and cheese mixture. It smells really good. It's got quite a strong smell because of the Stilton. There we go. And the colour is good too because of the greens that we've got in there. I think that's just about ready to go into the mould. Now you want to bring back your mould and start to spoon this in. Now be generous, but don't go right up to the top for a reason I'll show you in a second. But go all the way around. That's a bit more. It looks good even at this stage. And when you see it with the cranberries later, you see the lovely colour combination. So I'm going to keep going until I've got all the way around. There we are. Oh, look at that, lovely. And then just put this away. Now, if you do have too much mix, don't worry. Get yourself a little mould like this, grease it up and put the rest in there and cook them up, and you'll find that they make great starters. Now, when you've filled up your mould, you want to start wrapping over your bits of leek. It's a bit like the end of a terrine when you've got the bacon that you're folding over. And I think of this as giving it a little warm blanket, wrapping it up so it's all cosy and ready to go in the oven. There we go. Keep folding all the way around. Almost there. You want to make sure you pack it up nice and tightly. Look at that. Lovely. Right, now we're going to cover this with a bit of aluminium foil. And then we're going to put it into a bain-marie. Now I've got that here, but you'll see that I've got some kitchen paper in the bottom. Now the reason for this is that you don't want to put metal against metal, because if you do, the heat conducted between the two will curdle the cheese and ruin the dish. So sit it neatly on the kitchen paper and then fill it halfway up with boiling water. Be ever so careful with this because it's heavy once you pour the water in, and it's hot. So pour that in and put that in the oven at gas mark 3, 170 centigrade, 325 Fahrenheit for about an hour. And I'm just going to lift that very carefully. Okay. And then when that's cooked, just leave that to cool. Now in the meantime, we're going to make that wonderful cranberry port sauce. Now for this you need 8 ounces, that's 225 grams of fresh cranberries. Now, a little game you can play here. If you want to check to see if your cranberries are fresh, bounce them on the table. If they bounce, they're fresh. If they don't, they aren't. Then you just want to put that on a high heat into a pan. There it goes. And I'm going to add 2 pears chopped up. Now that's my own invention, and I like that because I think the pears complement the Stilton. It's a very traditional combination, so in it goes. And 2 tablespoons of a good port. Don't stint on the port. Lovely. And 4 tablespoons of water. And last but not least, 4 ounces, that's 100 grams of sugar. In it goes. Now you want to bring that up to the boil and then let it simmer for 15 to 20 minutes. Look at those colours, they're fab, aren't they? And when it's simmered, you'll find it breaks down into this rather splendid compote. Now this can actually act as a relish in its own right, so you could put it in the fridge. It will last for a couple of weeks, so it would take you over the Christmas period. But it is also a fantastic accompaniment to our Stilton wreath. Speaking of which, when that has cooled down, you want to turn it out. Now, when you turn it out, you might find there's a little bit of excess liquid in the ring mould, so put some kitchen paper in the middle as you turn it out and it will absorb the liquid. Don't worry if this happens, it's perfectly normal. When you've turned it out onto your plate, here it is, partly decorated, we're going to finish off with a few trimmings. And I'm going to put some rosemary around the front of it, like so, and a little bit of flat leaf parsley. There it is. And just to finish off, I think a few more of those lovely bright red cranberries dotted about. There it goes. And there is your finished Stilton wreath with that fabulous port sauce.